What is up, everybody? Welcome to Bears Country Podcast on Bears Country Productions. Thursday night, little pregame show, our normal night, but we're going pregame tonight since the Bears are playing here in a little bit. Before we begin, guys, I just want to remind you that we are brought to you by BetUS. Get 125% sign-up bonus with the link below. For those in audio stream, that's bit.ly/BearsCountryPodcast-BetUS. Place all your sports bets there. It'll help the channel. And also, download the PSF app. Find that Bears chat room. We've got a lot of stuff going on over there. I'm paired up with Lester Wiltfong Jr., so it's a fun ride over there too. So make sure you guys download that and find the Bears chat. And we do a lot of stuff during the games. I think we're still going to be doing game casts like we did last year, but there's a lot of new stuff in motion. So more to come on that if you are involved with PSF, and we hope that you are. Guys.
And if you're going to bet, please bet responsibly. Thank you
very much, PJ. We are down to Foster right now because he is having some internet. There he is right there, son of a. So we'll see him in a bit.
It's my fault. It was my fault.
Yeah.
Because I asked him to go to the room with the paneling for one last time, and he obliged, and then his internet started acting up. So, guys, my fault that we're down on Foster.
Now, the technical person in me would say that that's a technical issue, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a little bit more that meets the eye maybe in that room, right, behind that paneling. Maybe there's some spirits operating on the 2.4 gigahertz bands. I won't bore you guys, but
for any I know Armando. What's up, Armando Lera Jr.? Thank you for Armando Lera. Strange story. I went to all of school, grade school, high school, everything, with a guy named Armando Lira with an I.
Right.
And he claims that he gave him his mail one day. So, what a small world. If that's actually true, I believe him. He said it multiple times. Thank you, Armando Lera Jr., for joining us tonight. PJ, let's get to the chat really quick.
Okay, but check your text message, Shorty.
Oh, sure.
Antmus, J2K, Jason UK, Cliff Victoria, Doug Van Dorn, B. Foster, Armando Lara Jr. Scrolling up.
Did you say hello to Mr. Doug Van Dorn, aka VHS, yet?
Yes. But you're more than welcome to repeat the names I've said. Thigh in my podcast.
Who's that? Jason UK Bears.
B. Foster.
I
got everybody. Yes. Everyone that I've seen.
Thank you guys for joining us. I have to send Foster a link in Twitter now to get him on the show. So
you got it, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can take care of that.
Okay.
Patty Lara.
Patty is Armando's wife. So thank you for joining us. I believe you're his wife. So if I'm wrong,
because you know what I thought all this time? I thought it was his mother. I am sorry. I did. I guess the junior threw me off. That's what threw me off.
Oh no.
There's a third. There's an Armando the third, his son.
Okay, all right. That's why I was like, I thought it was bad. My apologies, guy.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. It's the final preseason game of the year. There's kind of after this, it's like what? It's like a dead zone, right?
Hold on, though. What did Patty call you, Nomad?
I thought Nomad was in here.
She said hi, Nomad, PJ, and Karl.
When she said that, I was looking to see if Nomad was in here. I'm like, Nomad's not in here, is he? But yeah. So first off, I want to talk about your jersey.
Yes, talk about my jersey. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're just not over Justin Fields, huh? You just can't do it. You just got to rub it in that you're just not over Justin Fields. I get it.
We all take our time. We go at different phases in life, and there's a step to the whole healing process.
Bet there is.
Yeah.
Well,
There is. It's
TJ, there are some things that are bigger than football, though.
I mean,
This is very true, Karl. You know, as much as I am a Bear fan, I take more pride in being a family man. So, you know, one thing I've learned about life, you got to have your priorities straight. That's all I got to say.
and you probably had that for what, 10 years? That is awesome.
Foster!
There's your paneling, Karl. PJ.
Yes, the paneling. Yes.
Bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Were the rotting bodies interfering with? Did you have to move into the room that didn't have the bodies in the wall?
No, actually, what happened was, and you know, if I'm involved in something, it's going to be messed up. It just is what it is. PJ and I were just discussing all the material that I give him to work with when he's out there doing his stand up. So I've been on this computer like 3 or 4 times today doing some stuff because I'm at mom's getting ready for an open house here, and it decides to do all the freaking updates that it's supposed to do at 5 a.m. right now. I'm sitting there looking at it. It's 55% done.
Well, it's better than nothing, buddy.
You made it, man. You made it.
Another
You're over
day
the
here in
50%
Foster,
mark.
Bill.
Now you can say you're close to being done because you got to round up. Once you're over 50, you round up. If you're at 48, you round down. Right? So you're almost done.
There you go.
See, Doug's talking from experience, maybe. Doug Van Dorn says, you know, Foster, decaying bodies block the signals pretty badly. Just saying. How would he know that?
Exactly. Thank you.
How would he know that?
Right. Speaking from
I
experience.
know you, DVD.
Oh man. Well, listen, we
Bears.
appreciate all you guys for joining us tonight, man. This is you know, I've said it before. You get all your Bears take from CHGO interviewed Ryan Poles this week. Oh, that was awesome. They also interviewed the HBO girl that was working on the whole series. Kind of gave us a little insight. I knew the reason why they weren't swearing was because I just felt it in my soul, because it just seems like Flus is not a swearing type guy. And I think that resonates down through his team. And plus, I think the respect that they feel around the ownership, you know, this is a family that's owned this team from the beginning. So I'm sure there's mad respect there. So when it was confirmed that the swearing was just out of respect for them, like even if they did have some of it, you know, that wasn't around the family, because you know Virginia's watching this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So no, kudos, because you know they knew forever that the Bears didn't want to do this, so they're making I think, to me as a fan, it's a really nice production so far.
Yeah, I think that there was a conversation at some point between Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles and said, hey, you know, we got to make sure we tell the guys about watching their language during this thing because of Virginia watching. And I mean, I can respect that. I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Foster?
Yep.
No, okay, that's it on that. Okay. So as we just kind of get into the game coming up here shortly, we're gonna pause for the game. As we said last week, this is our normal week to do our show. So we're doing our show around the Bears game. And in the future, I might do the game while it's going on. if nobody else wants to do it with me. Foster is like 4 minutes ahead of everybody because he's like getting it from the airwaves.
I'm telling you, he got a direct link.
10 miles away.
I gotta tell the truth, man. I'm on the roof with binoculars. I could see Soldier Field. No, that's really what it is.
He had a new meaning to the word peeping Tom. On a roof with
And I miss a lot of the plays because I'm looking at women in the stadium. So you know how that goes.
I told you it's not giving too much material, man.
That's why you got those seats for you and Chris Watts at the Raiders game when you guys almost fell out of the stadium.
Absolutely.
So you can have that bird's eye view.
Absolutely. Huh? You could see we were even with the top, but it was still at the 50-yard line. That way I got the complete perspective.
Nice.
Now for you guys in the chat who doesn't have access to the game, Adam Mason is doing a live podcast during the game. We're not. Adam is.
All right. I mean, let's get the Hard Knocks thing out of the way, and then I want to kind of ask you about this game. So, Hard Knocks, how you feeling about it? What'd you think about the last episode? How do you feel about it overall, especially with this information that came out about respect for the family and da-da-da-da-da? Because it really does help to put the Bears in a better light, right? If they're not swearing all the time.
Yeah. I think if I'm being totally honest, once again, I think it's kind of like tamed down to where you're not getting a lot of football action. You get more like backstories and stories, and I'm more of the show me the action sort of guy. So I'm missing that part of it. And then the program is only like 52 minutes, 53 minutes. I'm like, man, it's making me crave more.
Yeah, you want like 2.5 hours of it.
Yeah, like 2.5 hours, because I want to see more action going on the field, and I'm not seeing that. So it's like leaving me lacking, I guess.
Are you on mushrooms tonight, Foster? Are you okay?
No.
It's your turn to talk, bro.
No. No, it's not my turn to talk. I just talk when I'm ready.
Well, the mic was passed to you, clearly.
Oh, but I missed it because I was switching computers, so I'm not.
Yeah, what were you doing there?
I was on the phone.
Oh, you were switching back to your computer.
So I lost a little bit of the conversation, even though I think both of me were in there at the same time.
We're talking about Hard Knocks. How do you feel about it? Do you think they're doing it a good service, respectfully?
I don't know how real is it because you're in front of cameras. So I don't. I haven't even seen it. I'm gonna get access to see it all, like so binge it all at some point, but I haven't even seen it, and I don't know, man, what's real and what's not. Usually what you see on TV or anything that you see on a video stream, not a stream, but I'll say like anything that's filmed like that, I don't think you're going to get you're only going to get half the picture of what the reality of it is. So that's just my opinion. It's like this. My dad always said this: believe almost none of what you hear, and about half of what you see, because even your eyes can be. You can see things and they're not what you think they are. And I have a story even that goes with that. But
well, the interesting point about that, if I'm not stepping on somebody's turn, the interesting part about that is that they have stationary cameras. So I don't know so much if they're staging it, because if you got a stationary camera in there, you tend to forget about it. You know what I mean? You're going about your business and you just act normal because it's so stationary.
Here, did you guys see how nice and really nice Aaron Rodgers was on any of the Hard Knock stuff from last year?
I never watched it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you didn't see anything negative about him on Hard Knocks. And I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that there is all this negative stuff that they talk about, but we have a better idea of who he at least who we perceive him to be, because what we've seen and heard, because Green Bay being so close. But they didn't show anything. I mean, he was super nice and showing the backup stuff and talking to everybody really nice. So it's probably staged, like J2K said.
Yeah, it just
don't
makes
know,
me wonder. Yeah, I mean, because like in a building that I worked in before, they have cameras, and after a while, you forget about the cameras. You know what I mean? Because you just kind of forget about them and just act your normal way, and that's why sometimes people wonder, well, why would he do that when he knowing the camera right there? Because after a while, you just forget the camera's there.
But so how many of you guys have you guys ever been on set in front of cameras and stuff?
Yeah.
I did a lot of it. I did a lot of it. And
Well, you're a movie star.
My wife was a film accountant for 25 years. Yes.
I knew you, Dan. I knew your wife, but I don't know how much you've seen or how many times you've been.
Dude, I hung out with Dave Matthews. It's a great story.
We don't want to fucking hear it.
On the movie Just Go With It. It's a hilarious story. I'll have to tell you that one day. Remind me to do that. Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
Why not now?
Post game.
Post game.
All right. Post game.
We're about 27 minutes away from kickoff, I believe, right now.
About a 5-minute story. So that's about a 3-minute story. Okay. So finish what you were saying about Hard Knocks.
No, just that it's like J2K was saying, it's mightily staged. But when there's cameras around and the people behind the cameras, I never forget, Peach. It's not like I act like it goes away. And the hundreds of people that I work with, it's a craft.
No, I agree with that part.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how much you can go around not realizing that there's cameras and people filming you or filming situations, even if you don't see them. But there's these extra people there and this equipment that's not there every day at work. So I don't know.
Oh,
we need to get some players on and ask them their opinions about it.
You missed the episode because you said you haven't watched it, right?
Right.
What they said was, see, in certain places they have stationary cameras where a person's not there. So that's what I'm talking about. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, when you see some people there with cameras, yeah, you're going to always be wary of them. But when you have a stationary camera, nobody's around, you got a planted microphone in your ceiling, you forget then that you have cameras. That's what I'm talking about.
Hogan Johns called that out during the polls interview because they're like,
what it was.
The camera's moving.
Yes, that's what it was. I'm sorry, it wasn't on Hard Knocks. It was on the Hogan Johns interview.
Yeah. So, Karl, you want to give us your thoughts real quick on that before I give mine on Hard Knocks?
It was a much better episode than the previous episode, in my opinion. I mean, J2K put a comment earlier just regarding how the actual game footage is what I'm kind of clamoring for, and that stuff is awesome. The behind-the-scenes stuff, there's so many things not to dislike, but it just feels so filtered, right? No swearing. They have to make the obvious point of Simone Biles, which is cool, and it makes so much sense. But I really enjoy the meat and potatoes, the actual B-roll footage, the gameplay footage. And I also really, really, really liked seeing what they had to say about Matthew Judon. Because Poles did agree to the trade, and there was a trade principle in place, but it fell through because of a lack of contract agreement with Judon. So I think that behind-the-scenes stuff, clearing out anything, nice. Like you did not see that anywhere else. It was essentially breaking news as the show was being aired, and that's the stuff that I'm hoping to see more of. But obviously, I don't know how many more big-time trades the Bears are going to be trying to make before this series is over.
All right, to put it to bed, I'm going to say that first off, you know how I feel about the fact that they're even on Hard Knocks, especially in a season like this with this whole. I mean, I can't. I pinch myself every day because I can't believe the Bears are the number one talk of the entire NFL world, and I'm just gobbling it up like it's just Pac-Man dots, man. And the fact that they're even on Hard Knocks is like an honor because it has taken so long for them to get to this point. And so like I'm truly looking at this as like a work of art, like an homage to the Bears. And I never even noticed that nobody was swearing until everyone started talking about it. Like, who gives a flying fuck if they're not fucking swearing? So who gives a shit? I think it never even crossed my mind. And now it's this whole big deal, and it had to be asked and answered on the CHGO podcast. But to the Matthew Judon thing,
what was I spitting for, bro?
What, no super chats? Yeah.
I mean, what was I spitting for there, bro?
That's my new thing whenever those 3 words are said.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
Kind of like when you say the French around Chris Watts, it goes, what, no super chats? Yeah, I picked that up from him. And to the Matthew Judon thing, I find it like funny that Greg Gabriel said, no, there's no way that they offered them a 3rd-round pick for Matthew Judon, and they did. And personally, I'm glad that they did not accept it, because if
I agree.
We were watching it, and my wife is like, why is he talking to Kevin Warren about this? Whose decision is this? I said, well, he has to talk to Kevin Warren because he's, in charge of the finances. So he needs to know, because if he's not trying, he's in his final year. If he's not trying to trade for him to sign him to a new contract, either way, they have to fit in his contract into this. But I'm hoping that they would be trying to offer him, a new contract. And then they kept going, and they did. And I was like, wow, okay, that makes perfect sense. But the fact that he didn't want to come here is fine with me. I think that's taken away time from Booker. I really think Booker is going to surprise people this year. He's going to be a big part of this defense. And one of the reasons why, one of the links in the chain and to the reason why we're going to be 13-4 and become the first team to win the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. Dropping the mic.
You said it a ways back about that, man. And there's been a lot of talk over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Maybe still not much this last week, but a couple weeks.
See, everyone's
people are after you brought it up.
They're copying me. Yeah. You're getting choppy.
Right.
You're getting choppy again, Foster.
I'm always freaking choppy, man. I've been that way for 60 years. It's 100 years.
Should just make that your new voice.
Yep.
All right. You're like, I'm not switching back to my phone, damn it. All right, so
I'm going in and out because we only got so long. It's 7 now.
So I'm loving this Hard Knocks. I'm absolutely loving it. It's in 20 years we're going to be like, wow, there it is, his first year watching this happen as a rookie. And
I think I feel because when I watch the Detroit Hard Knocks, because I know nothing about Detroit's football team. So all the information I was getting there was like truly information, because I know nothing about Detroit other than what I've seen highlights on Sundays or them actually playing the Bears. So because I read articles every day and I see videos every day of the Bears, there's like not a lot of new information you're getting through the Bears, because it's Hard Knocks, because it's like, okay, well, already knew about that, except for the part, like you said, the details of the trade, the attempted trade for Judon. I thought that was some good watching. I'm like, that's very informational. So then when you're actually seeing the clips from the game, from practice, and like, okay, we've seen those on social media already, so it's not really giving me more information. And that's why I'm looking at it like it's lacking for me, because I already know so much about it from all these other things. Now, if I was like not watching the other stuff, I think, I'll probably feel a lot better. But because of me already knowing a lot of the things, it's like, well, I watched the game last week, so them showing highlights of the game, it's like, okay, I've seen that. But now you get a little bit of more detail about, his earpiece thing was not working in the helmet. So now you know why he had problems his first 3 drives. So
And
it puts things into context.
that couldn't be staged either, right? Like when I was watching that, I was like, oh my God, it just makes perfect sense. Rookie quarterback is not getting the perfect information regarding what the play call is. 3-3 and outs for the first time the whole preseason. All of a sudden, now he's good again. Well, it's because he got a working helmet. It just makes too much sense.
Well, but the only thing, if I'm being totally honest, again, at what time did it start working? Was it after the first series or was it after the third series?
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
that's
so-
not to be clear. So of course they're gonna piece
They made
that
it
together
seem-
too.
They
Right.
made it seem like it was right when everything kicked in, right?
Exactly. So that's what that's what I say. Those things, and I mean, it's not a knock against it. It's just like I'm just watching it, and like I said, I'm trying to gain as much information as I can because I'm filtering it all in, combined with all the things that we watch during the week, so all these other podcasts and all these other interviews. So you're filtering it all in and trying to see what is really going on.
I just I don't know. I love it. I love the whole thing.
I do want more of it.
It was time. If they were ever going to do it, it's now.
Yeah, I
Because
do
you get
want
this
more of it
timepiece. Yeah.
because there's only one of it. What, 5 episodes? So we only got 2
2
more.
episodes left. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after the last one, I was like, let's check out this Giants one. You know, it was so awful. I got like halfway through. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, the head coach, Brian Dable, just looks like everyone. They talk like morons. Like when you watch them talk, and then I think about the Dan Campbell. You know, he was like every other word. He was like a truck driver. And then you compare those last ones that I watched, and you compare it to this one, to the Bears, and I think it's just so much better because it really seems like for once the Bears actually know what they're doing. I love how Eberflus is being seen, standing behind him on Caleb on every play. In the quarterback room, he's always talking with him. He's going over the play after he does it. And what did you see there? What was that? Like, what defense was that? Blah, blah, blah. That is exactly what you need to do as a defensive coordinator, head coach. As a defensive head coach, you need to teach your quarterback through the eyes of your defense and through all the defenses and all the looks. And to see that happening is very refreshing, and they're doing it on a much more classy scale than when you can, in my opinion, when you compare it to the Lions one and then now the Giants one. The Jets one I watched too, but I just remember them jazzing up Aaron Rodgers more than anything else on that. But that made a difference to me. I was like, I appreciate what they're doing with the Bears Hard Knocks. Because like I said, I didn't even know they weren't swearing until somebody brought it up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, I mean, for me, like I said, the whole thing with Eberflus and what's his name? Caleb. I was like, I think that's very important that you do that for your quarterback. And to your point, I think every head coach or opposite player on the if you're like offensive mind or the defensive coordinator or head coach, whoever, the opposite of the quarterback, you ought to be able to have that relationship with him, walk him through it and talk him through it, and that way you can help him grow faster. So yeah, I think that's good. But if I remember correctly, isn't that what Nick Saban told him to do in episode 2? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, was that just part of the show?
Well, that's true too.
He told him that 6 months ago,
Yeah.
But he had to get on camera saying it. Then they show it.
Yeah, yeah, good point. I mean, because again, it is a show.
Yeah,
you just don't know what's what, man.
But
Mark's just like even tonight for this game. Or sorry, Joey, if you were going to continue.
no, we can't even understand you, bro. You got to go back to your phone.
Talk slower.
You're ununderstandable.
He's moving. He's moving.
Uh-oh.
Well, this was good before. Did it change?
Oh yes, sounding better. It's beginning to sound better.
Keep talking.
Terrible.
Nope. Yeah.
It's still really bad.
Yeah, it's like every time you talk.
That's not.
Wait,
Yeah,
let
it's
Foster talk. Try it one more time. I thought I heard some clarity at the end of that.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, how's this?
Nope.
It's getting better.
Because now I'm right on top of the device. And different.
Maybe I was fooled. It was less echo, but it's still got the intermittent.
Keep talking.
I just want to see. I want to see if there's anybody from this game tonight. No. No.
No, you
All right, okay.
it's stuck. Go back to your phone.
To the phone up here.
So yeah, to wrap it up on Hard Knocks, I'm just I like the taste that they're putting into it, and I know that once they get to the end, they're going to do something about the family. They have to do something about Virginia. They have to, right? I mean, they have
Golden opportunity. She's still with us.
She's 100
amazingly.
plus years old. She's 100. She's gonna be like what 102 this. Her birthday is January 5th. I think she's 102.
And the
Just
way
coming
that they'll layer that in is that we're gonna get some really cool game footage and like let's call it the first round of cuts from this game upcoming, right? And then that last episode. Are there 5 episodes or 6?
5.
I think there's 5. So
Yeah,
episode
5.
4 is going to be amazing in my opinion with the Chiefs first round of cuts, and there's going to be a bit of a backstory between Poles and his former employees / coworkers with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then episode 5 is going to be a mixture of the McCaskey family send off and the last round of cuts, which you're going to see some crazy stuff in that last episode too.
There's only one set of cuts, bro.
Well, I would have to. I know that it's a 1-day cut down, right? It literally goes from 90, or in the Bears' case, 91 to 53. Right. But after the game Thursday, there's going to be a little bit of it. They may have even already done something with Freddie Swain. Freddie Swain got put on IR. They brought back LeBlanc, but Freddie Swain's no longer a member of the Bears for my money. So that's what I'm referring to, is just like the first wave. But the second wave, episode 5, is going to have a lot of like real, like it's going to be the 54th, 55th man out of the roster, which is going to suck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. That's better.
Tuesday.
All right, so we got like 10 minutes to go before we have to sign off here because the game's going to start. I want to first off know who is going to watch this game, because that's going to tell me what kind of fan you are.
I got the TV sitting right here, dude.
Oh, you sound real clear there.
Yeah, you're much better.
This is my cell phone sitting in the exact same spot, obviously. Look at the paneling.
Yeah.
Love the paneling, bro. Love the paneling.
I'll be watching because I want to see if there's anybody that makes a statement tonight from second, third, fourth string, because these guys are playing not only for spots on the Bears today, they're playing for potentially another team that's looking at them. So, and how many guys are we going to cut that are going to get picked up this year? I think there's going to be a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
the Baskerville
is
Roman thing is something to keep an eye on. The Velus Jones, Ian Wheeler thing, something to keep an eye on. It's going to be it's what this, I love these games as a fan because I get to see what's going on with our depth and who we're keeping. And that's important because, I mean, that's really important. Yeah. So when you prove that you have one of your depth is better than most, then that elevates your team to a different level because you, sorry, I was just reading a private chat. Because anything can happen at any given moment to any one of your players, and you need to have those guys in place.
Don't.
So,
I see what
getting what the hell just happened to him? Jesus.
That's why I love Foster, man. I'm just telling y'all. For those of you in the chat who don't know, I truly love Foster.
Oh, God.
hilarious.
Foster is my brother for real.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. I was trying to read the chat back, and it took me out.
Uh,
No, I forgot. Oh,
now we get the
I
paneling.
forgot what the hell I was saying, dude.
We were talking about just going into this game, and like some of the players that it's going to come down to. Do they keep Ian Wheeler and Velus Jones?
I would love for that
By
to happen.
cutting, what's his name?
Oh,
The running back?
I don't think they'd cut him. I really don't believe they would cut him.
No, the guy. Come on. what's his name?
You talking about Travis Homer?
Yeah, Homer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's.
So that's Ian Wheeler's spot, right?
Yeah, I just think that because of Bears being kind of stacked at certain positions, I could see them trying to make some trades of maybe a Khalil Herbert, maybe a Greg Stroman. I could see them trying to possibly making some trades and trying to find themselves a pass rusher somehow. Because I've seen that. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. Didn't Washington just trade Dotson to somebody today or something? Yes, he did. So,
Philly.
Yeah, to Philly. So if Washington's in the clearing out mode, I wouldn't be surprised you see the Bears trying to make a move on Jonathan Allen. Just putting it out there. I know we got Jerron Dexter and him playing 3 technique like Jonathan Allen, but if Washington's in the sell mode, I can see the Bears going after a Jonathan Allen. A true, already made 3 technique that's ready to go.
Very interesting, Pete.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I can see that happen because once I've seen that Dotson trade, I'm like, oh, so who they got the rookie quarterback throwing to if you're getting rid of his weapons besides McLaurin?
It begs the question because out of nowhere, like I honestly didn't think they were in on anyone for a trade, like a Judon, until that really shocked me as a fan.
Yeah,
and because I don't believe all the hype. I just kind of go, what we don't know in that situation, right? Maybe it's because the guy just didn't excite me as a trade. Maybe if he was an exciting player, I would have been like, oh yeah, well yeah, I hope the Bears did, but
right.
But the fact that they showed that to you shows you that they're like kind of going all in, man. They know that they just need one more piece.
I'm telling you. I can see it. I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit. I'm telling you, guess what? Allen's 29 years old, and like I said, because when I heard Flus say in an interview, maybe it was on Hard Knocks, I can't remember, but he said something like having 2 good pass rushers, and I'm like, okay, so they're looking. So we shall see.
Trey Hendricks.
Holes is always looking, and him and Cunningham, the talent they've pulled together, and if you really think about it, it's 2 seasons, because we're going into season 3.
Right.
We talked about this before, the turnover on this roster, but I just, for the most part, boy, the guys can identify pieces that it's not every time because you don't do it every time. But for the most part, they can sure identify pieces that they need, it seems like.
Ooh, good point.
And find somebody to fill that need. And I'm still – we might have the defense – we might have the guy we're looking for on the team even. We still might. I get the trade scenario, Page. I could see him picking up either defensive end or a defensive lineman at this point right now.
Yeah.
So – I agree with that. I could see that happening.
J2K here. If Velus sits tonight, he's a lock, in my opinion. I think you're right.
That's probably true. Let me ask you guys this. Because that game last week, Buffalo didn't play any starters. And it sure made our offensive line look good.
Buffalo or Cincinnati?
Buffalo. No, Cincinnati.
Okay.
Cincinnati. I was
Right.
going to go back to the Buffalo game when the Bills were playing their starters, whereas Buffalo didn't. And if you go back and look at that game, the offensive line was decent, and Matt Pryor was getting most of the snaps at right guard in that, and he actually had guys on the ground against the starters. Whereas Nate Davis last week played okay against second, third stringers. So my biggest concern is still this interior offensive line. We're not going to know anything until game one. We're not going to find anything out tonight, I don't think.
No.
So I just wanted to see if you guys had any thoughts about those two games in particular, because like I said, for the first 20 or 30 plays, those first stringers were in there for Buffalo and not for Cincinnati.
I think Cincinnati's like injury worried because of they seem to be injured often, and they lost two guys off on a cart during that practice. So
yeah,
I can't blame them for that. I want to go back to what J2K said here. In my opinion, Poles should wait till the trade deadline for defensive end. Take advantage of a bad team trying to rebuild. Well said, because by then you'll know what you're getting out of Booker. That's a great point, J2K.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if I think Booker's ready for a full-time role. If in my dream scenario, I guess I would go after Jonathan Allen to give me that right now pass rusher, not somebody who's developing like Dexter. Yeah, Dexter, you can get 45% of the snaps, but I want Jonathan Allen to be my mainstay who I can truly count on. But yeah, then try to give me a trade for a young defensive end also to match it. And then our defense will truly be number one ranked, in my opinion.
Foster, before we sign off.
PJ's that's PJ's Chase Young version 2A in 2024.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I actually trade for and get or sign was Karl Lawson, but he signed the other day.
All right,
that would have been my pick.
Everyone in chat, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got to go. The game's about to start, Foster.
Fuck Green Bay.
Everyone in chat, give us your best FGB.
Yes, Adam Mason's pod. Go to his podcast if you can't watch the game live. He's streaming it over there, talking about it over there. So shout out to Adam Mason.
Excellent. Shout out to him. I might hop over there and chat too, just to see what he's got going on. All right, guys, enjoy the game. We'll be back after the game for a post-game show. Listen, we've said this before. It's our normal night. We do the show on Thursday nights.
Right.
We usually go to like midnight Eastern time, anyways. So,
see you guys after the game.
After the game's over, we'll see you then.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.
1, 2, 3. Bears.
Bears.